There was a question before for those of you who came in late. If you were sick or if you have to travel or whatever, everything will be recorded and posted. So feel free to, if you need to miss class, that's fine. But do not miss the labs. There are 3 labs and there's a midterm. So if you're taking the in-person section, don't miss any of that because that's hard to schedule. Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, this is called, it used to be called IBC. This is what I meant. There are 3 types of sections of this class. It's complicated. One is in person. One is what's called synchronized Zoom, which is many of you on Zoom know what I'm talking about. So that means you don't, sometimes there, if you're working or if you're not in Salt Lake or whatever, you can take it. In fact, I had a student who took it from, I think he was in Finland or somewhere. So you can do it from anywhere. But of course, you can also do it asynchronously. And there are differences between them, slight differences I will explain. Not drastic differences, some small differences. In person, the big difference is that there is a midterm, which is actually going to be here in person. Okay. And that counts for pretty, not a huge amount of the grade. So yeah, I mean, I should also mention the grading is, it's all spelled out. We'll go over it. But one big thing I would recommend is don't stress out about it. The most important thing, if you have any trouble that you're stuck or whatever, just reach out to me or, yeah, just reach out to me. I'm very available on Slack. For some of you already know this, but or email that, for instance, I might be in a very different time zone, so I might not respond right away. So, but just message me on Slack. But anyway, I'll come to the grading, but don't stress out about it. That would be my short answer. Hello. Okay, we are there on time. Okay, I'm supposed to wait another minute. Any last questions? Yes, please. You have to speak up. Say that. Yes, yeah. IVC, yeah. Yes, if you want to, yeah. The only concern is for the labs. We don't have room in the labs, so you're gonna have to do the online labs. Yeah. Yes.
Since there's 3 sections.
Yes.
When it comes to group work.
Yeah, good question. I know what you're gonna ask. No, unfortunately, we can't mix them. Yeah, comes up every year, and the problem is I've done it very rarely because of very specific reasons. The problem is you have to work closely together. Sometimes it's a little awkward. So, and it's a part of the class is to kind of be able to work as a team. I'll explain what my philosophy is. Yes. Yeah, please come on.
So because the in-person and the online, the real-time and the online are separate, could you choose to be one or the other?
Yes, you can. Okay. Yeah, you can change it, settings, yeah.
Well, because, I was just double checking because the whole classes are full.
Send me a message if you want to change, yeah. They're full because of the labs. Right. So if you are coming, we cannot accept more students to the in-person because there's no room. But if you want to change to the online, that's possible. So you can always let me know. We need a permission code for that. I think we should start, otherwise we will go late. Okay, we are at Optics for Energy, and I assume everyone on Zoom can hear me and see me. So very briefly, the syllabus is here. Please read through them. I'm not going to go through it right now, but again, everything is on Canvas. There is no textbook. Everything will be here. We'll go through the logistics. If you have any questions, email me, message me on Slack. Whatever, so, or the TA, and there's another instructor who will show up later. So the syllabus, very quickly, you can go through it. My name is Rajesh Menon, that's my name. I'm a professor in ECE. My research is in optics. We'll talk a little bit about my research. Mostly nowadays, I do a lot of what's called sensing and imaging, which means basically taking information carried by light, photons, and trying to make more sense of it. And what I mean by that, as an example, is let's imagine you're a self-driving car and you want to be able to navigate through a snowstorm. Today is a very difficult challenge. We're trying to solve this challenge using some combination of sensors and machine learning. So if any of you are very interested in these sorts of research areas, please reach out to me. I have a very robust group, and there are a few students here from the group as well. If you're taking the in-person section, don't miss any of that because that's hard to schedule. Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, this is called, it used to be called IBC. This is what I meant. There are three types of sections for this class. It's complicated. One is in person. One is what's called synchronized Zoom, which is many of you on Zoom know what I'm talking about. So that means you don't, sometimes there, if you're working or if you're not in Salt Lake or whatever, you can take it. In fact, I had a student who took it from, I think he was in Finland or somewhere. So you can do it from anywhere. But of course, you can also do it asynchronously. And there are differences between them, slight differences I will explain. Not drastic differences, some small differences. In person, the big difference is that there is a midterm, which is actually going to be here in person. Okay. And that counts for not a huge amount of the grade. So yeah, I mean, I should also mention the grading it's all spelled out. We'll go over it. But one big thing I would recommend is don't stress out about it. The most important thing, if you have any trouble that you're stuck or whatever, just reach out to me just reach out to me. I'm very available on Slack. For some of you already know this, or email that, for instance, I might be in a very different time zone, so I might not respond right away. But just message me on Slack. But anyway, I'll come to the grading, but don't stress out about it. That would be my short answer. Hello. Okay, we are there on time. Okay, I'm supposed to wait another minute. Any last questions? Yes, please. You have to speak up. Say that. Yes, yeah. IVC, yeah. Yes, if you want to, yeah. The only concern is for the labs. We don't have room in the labs, so you're gonna have to do the online labs. Yeah. Yes.
Since there's 3 sections.
Yes.
When it comes to group work.
Yeah, good question. I know what you're gonna ask. No, unfortunately, we can't mix them. Yeah, comes up every year, and the problem is I've done it very rarely because of very specific reasons. The problem is you have to work closely together. Sometimes it's a little awkward. So, and it's a part of the class is to kind of be able to work as a team. I'll explain what my philosophy is. Yes. Yeah, please come on.
So because the in-person and the online, the real time and the online are separate, could you choose to be one or the other?
Yes, you can. Okay. Yeah, you can change it, settings, yeah.
Well, I was just double checking because the whole classes are full.
Send me a message if you want to change, yeah. They're full because of the labs. Right. So if you are coming, we cannot accept more students to the in-person because there's no room. But if you want to change to the online, that's possible. So you can always let me know. We need a permission code for that. I think we should start, otherwise we will go late. Okay, we are at Optics for Energy, and I assume everyone on Zoom can hear me and see me. So very briefly, the syllabus is here. Please read through them. I'm not going to go through it right now, but again, everything is on Canvas. There is no textbook. Everything will be here. We'll go through the logistics. If you have any questions, email me, message me on Slack. Whatever, so, or the TA, and there's another instructor who will show up later. So the syllabus, very quickly, you can go through it. My name is Rajesh Menon, that's my name. I'm a professor in ECE. My research is in optics. We'll talk a little bit about my research. Mostly nowadays, I do a lot of what's called sensing and imaging, which means basically taking information carried by light, photons, and trying to make more sense of it. And what I mean by that, as an example, is let's imagine you're a self-driving car and you want to be able to navigate through a snowstorm. Today's very difficult challenge. We're trying to solve this challenge using some combination of sensors and machine learning. So if any of you are very interested in these sorts of research areas, please reach out to me. I have a very robust group, and there are a few students here from the group as well if you're interested. And we can talk more later. We do a lot of different things. We build microscopes, telescopes, cameras, photonic circuits, all kinds of things. We collaborate very widely with folks in medicine, neuroscience, astronomers, material scientists, chemists, gravity, theoretical physicists. Yeah, all kinds of people. Yeah. Okay, that's about me. And that's my email, so that's important. So if you want to email me, that's best. And all the details are here, which I'll go through quickly. Okay. So I have a few slides, so let's jump right in. Let me make that full screen. Hopefully you can all see it. If you don't see on Zoom, for those of you on Zoom, of course you can unmute yourself and ask a question. I have my speakers up. But better, you can put it in chat and the TA will monitor it and he can alert me if there's a question. Okay? All right, let's jump right in. So there are many sections to it. Make sure you register to the right section. Sometimes it's confusing. People might register the wrong section and don't get enough credit. And I have to go back and fix it with some paperwork. Try not to do that. So please work with your department, register for whatever section makes sense to you. They're all the same from my perspective and from the Canvas perspective. Things might change a little bit, but otherwise it doesn't really matter. Okay. So, oh, there's a question. Let's see. Oh, no question. Okay, good. Okay, that's just, sorry. This is sometimes weird. Okay, so we're gonna meet here 5 to 6 Tuesdays and Wednesdays, today and tomorrow. It's a weird time just because it works for me. That's how I've been running it for a while. You have the Zoom links, so for those of you who might be traveling, feel free to join. I don't have specific office hours, although I might. But like I said, just message me on Slack if anything comes up. I'm fairly good about communicating. So please don't hesitate. Just ask. Yeah. So everything's on Slack. You can ask questions. I already have the invitation sent. Has anyone not joined? Okay, you don't have to raise your hand. But if you haven't joined, if you're not familiar with Slack, which is fine, I was not. Let's take a quick look. So that's the class Slack. There's nothing there right now. I haven't messaged anything, but you can create channels which are sometimes useful when you form your own teams. You can make your own channel there, discuss there, whatever you want. It can be private to me, even as an administrator, I don't need to see it. So it can be completely private, or you can include me if you want, doesn't matter. You can also message each other, message me, message the TA, message you you can make general announcements, even you should be able to post them. Okay, it's just an easy way to do all that. If you don't want to use Slack, that's perfectly fine. There's no need. It's a very efficient way to communicate. Email me. I'm hard to get hold of in person, especially this semester, just so you know. So I'm just giving you a warning right now, and we'll see it in the schedule. Sorry, every time I click on something, it messes up. So you have to let the people in. Okay. Oh, I should mention, there's no textbook. You don't have to buy anything. I'll give you all the notes. Everything will be posted on Slack. Okay. Mostly there are reading materials and then online resources. And when you work to your projects, you'll have your own literature. So you'll have papers and whatnot, right? Talk to companies, get their white papers, whatever. So don't spend money on any textbook yet. So what is the purpose of this class? So I started this class quite a while ago, primarily thinking about this as a science and engineering class, but really has changed into something a bit more interesting, I would say. Science and engineering of optics is really, what does that mean? That means how can we take, in this case, energy carried by light, photons, and do something constructive with it. and can be a lot of different things. We'll see some examples. But a very simple thing is how can I collect it very efficiently, focus it onto a solar panel, and get more energy in terms of electricity out of it. Very simple idea, right? And we'll talk about even simpler things, but that's really the crux of what we're going to talk about. But really, it's a little broader than this. So it can be things like daylighting. So for instance, right now we're using this to light the room, but there's plenty of sunlight out there. How can you efficiently take the light that's out there and illuminate this room and get rid of all this, right? There are a lot of people trying to do this. So this will be hopefully one of the topics that some of the teams are working on. Very large industry, by the way. So what are the learning objectives? My key objectives for you, and I want you to think back to this in December, is really understand some of the basics of optical design and engineering. And this is really basic. You would have seen some of this in your undergraduate physics or even some high school classes, but really thinking about this from the perspective of solving a problem. Really, okay, but you need to understand the foundations first. That's where we start there. And really applying that knowledge, those foundations, to solving something, some specific problem. But I'm mentioning innovation here because the idea is to create something new that solves some specific but important problem. Now we'll talk about examples later. And this is going to be the big part of the class, really. And this is what you're going to do as part of a team. So the majority of work in this class is going to be teamwork. Okay? And I'll explain exactly what those are. And then we'll talk about some really exciting new things that are coming out, which is really, I'm just picking papers that I've seen that I'm excited about in the last year, 2 years. And then we'll talk about it in some detail. And this is quite fun as well. The specific topics we'll cover, we'll do some optical design, so you learn about what's an imaging optic. An imaging optic is simply the camera on your, the lens on the camera that's on your phone, or the glasses I'm wearing, for instance. Non-imaging optics is a solar concentrator. It's not forming an image. It's just collecting energy. We'll talk about the differences later. How that relates to thermodynamics. This is a very interesting concept, a little bit abstract in the term here, but everything I talked about so far is limited by the second law of thermodynamics, which many of you may not have thought about until since freshman physics or whatever, but it turns out to be really, really critical to anything dealing with optics and energy for obvious reasons. Okay, so we'll come back to that in some to gain intuition, not necessarily mathematics. We'll look at novel approaches to light management in photovoltaics. What does that mean? That means when light enters a solar panel, which is a flat piece of silicon typically, how can I ensure that more of it gets absorbed and less gets reflected out? Typically, if you look at a solar panel, it kind of looks like a mirror. You can see yourself in it, which is not good, right? That means the light's reflecting out. That means I'm not collecting it. How do you prevent that? I want it to be like a black hole. I don't want light to escape. I want a black hole as a solar panel, right? How do we do that? Not there yet, but we're working on it. Emerging areas. And then entrepreneurship. So I should mention a few things, and we'll talk more about it. So the second half of the class, we have a bunch of talks, not just by me, but by other people that I invited, and many of them are from all over the country, about different aspects of entrepreneurship. So this is also a big part of the class, where you have to think about how to apply the innovation that you're going to develop as part of the team to solve a specific problem. But don't think about this. I don't want you to think about this purely from an engineering perspective, but I want you to think about how to make it real as well. So as an engineer, but also as someone who would probably make this into a product or a solution or whatever it is. Okay, we'll talk much more about this, but that is actually a big part of the class, but it will be kind of sneaked in later. We'll talk a little bit more later. Grading is very important, I think, for all of you. So for those of you in person, 20% of the grade is midterm. Midterm's on October 7th, so that's fixed. So don't go out of town on October 7th. And the midterm will be in class here. The time of the class, 5 to 6. Oh, and it's open book, open internet, open everything. I've never given a closed book exam, by the way. I don't believe in them. The only caveat is you cannot communicate. Any questions? And it'll cover everything until October 7, which means that, of course, not everything. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, you can Google it. Yes, anything you want. Yeah. ChatGPT? I don't mind if you use AI. However, I'd like you to cite it. I'm not sure if it's harder or easier. You are most of you are first year grad students or seniors. I can't tell. It's hard for me to tell. Or you're older. So I trust you. So it's really to test your own skills. There is a lot of research in neuroscience that says that the more you test yourself, or someone tests you, the more you will gain your understanding. And this is doesn't mean that you should always learn for testing. That's not what it means. It means that when you test the concepts, it allows you to kind of gain better understanding in your brain. And this really comes from neuroscience. That's the only reason I do it, really. I think it's good just because the next week of the class is a little bit hard. So you have to kind of take some time, kind of understand it, do the homework, struggle through it a little bit. That's the purpose. And it's only for in-person students. Just the team-based projects are the rest of the grade, 10%. There are 5 team presentations. What does that mean? That means as a team, for those of you in person, as a team, you will do the presentations here in class on September 9th. But I have to see how many teams there are, so it depends. It's going to be fairly short. It's going to be like 8 minutes or so, and we have to keep on time, otherwise we'll go forever, which happens sometimes. It's fun because there's a lot of discussion, and then soon it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I don't want to keep everybody super late, but so we'll talk more about that, but that's what that is. And I'll explain what those things, what the different presentations are. And the first one is September 9th. Again, try not to miss them if you are in person, part of your team. Okay, we can talk. Let's see. Then there are the 29% is based on assignments and lab reports. There are 3 labs. So, yeah, I mean, I try not to miss them, but, if you miss some, I think it's not going to mess up your grade too much. The first assignment is due August 26th. You've all seen it. It's just a poll. We'll talk about it shortly. For those of you who are online, the scales are a little different, as I noted there. And there are some extra assignments. 1% is course feedback, which means at the end of the class, I'd like to know how to improve the class. So please do it. So I will read it. That's very useful for me. Okay, let's look at the schedule. Any questions about grading? And then we'll look at the schedule. No questions on grading? Wow. That's incredible. Really? Yeah, okay. No final. Yeah, at least one question. Good. No final. There's a final presentation on the very last day. Yeah, that's a fun presentation. No other questions on grading? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So when there's presentations at the end, the online people will...
Yes, so yeah, great. For the online students, the presentations, you have to record it and submit it. For those of you who are in the synchronized version, depending on the time, I might ask you to do it over Zoom in real time, but I'm still trying to figure that out. It depends on how many teams we have, so I'm still trying to work out those logistics. Are you in the online section? Go ahead. Is there a question on Zoom?
Yeah. So sorry, I'm busy at work, so I'm not sure if I missed you saying this. It sounds like there's some general distinctions between online and in-person. Is that all just in this syllabus? Everything that is different between the two, or is there anything outside of that I would need to know about? Because
just the grading. So read the syllabus and watch this video when the recording is posted.
Okay.
Actually, that reminds me. Let me make sure it's recording. It's recorded. Yes, it is recorded. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go through the schedule quickly. So today is August 25th. Tomorrow we'll go over some example project topics, which gives you a flavor for what different things we're looking for. Next week we'll start the geometrical optics. Actually, Apratim and Dejun probably will help on those two lectures. So this is important because it allows you to actually analyze the optical systems by hand, which not a lot of people do, but it is useful to gain intuition today. Yeah? And then following week, we have a lecture by Mary Kate Crawford from Synopsys. So today, in modern optical systems, no one analyzes by hand. Everything is done with a computer because systems are complicated. So Mary Kate will introduce you to a Synopsys software. Now, this piece of software is very expensive, but they've donated it to us. As part of the class, you can use it. And I will post how you can use it. You can log in from home, use it from anywhere. It's in the Kate lab, thing upstairs, down here somewhere. You can go to the lab physically and use it, but I'll post those instructions. So it's really good to play around with it. It is extremely powerful. You will never, I mean, it'll take years to learn how to use all of it, but at least you'll get a taste of it. That's my hope. September 3rd, we have the first team presentation. I think that's what I said. Yes? 9th, yes. So that's a typo. Okay, okay, I'll fix it later. Yeah, good point. So then this should be 10th.
On those teams, are you just going to assign teams?
Yes, I'm going to assign the teams. That's part of the. Okay, so I'm sorry about the schedule. I'm going to have to fix this. I didn't realize these are switched. I might have switched these two. I have to double check. Yeah. How did I make this mistake? That's not good. Okay, so let me double check and I will correct it. And I'll make an announcement. But then we have the team presentation. Then we'll have a last lecture on geometrical optics. So this will be included in the midterm. So make sure you know all this. And then we have the first lab. Hopefully these dates are correct. Yes, I think they are. Yeah, I'll check. I'll check after this class. I'll make an announcement tonight if there is a problem, and I'll fix it. So the first lab, it's already posted. Let me check. Oh, no, it's not posted yet. So I have to update it. But it'll be in person. For those of you in person, it'll be just in MEB in the basement. So in the same floor, we'll go around. I'll give you more instructions, but we'll meet there. But because it's a fairly big class, we're going to separate into multiple groups and do it in stages. Okay. And it will be based on geometrical optics, what you've learned so far. It's very useful to gain the intuition. So it's really important that you do it, and there's a lab report associated with it. This lecture on non-imaging optics, part 1 is moved to a Monday. So that's September 21st. 22nd is the Tuesday. I have to move it to a Monday. It'll be the same time. Of course, it's recorded, so and it'll be on Zoom. So if anyone cannot make it, you will get the recording. This Wednesday class will be at the same time, but it will be on Zoom. So I mentioned here when it's a remote lecture, so just keep in mind, because that's when I'm traveling. Okay, or if the person who's giving the lecture is somewhere else. Then September 29th, 30th is your next presentation, innovation presentation. We'll talk about what those things means. Then we have a review for the midterm. Then there's an in-class midterm. I assume these dates are correct. I'm fairly sure they are, but anyway, I'll confirm everything. And then we have fall break. And after fall break, we'll go into more of the entrepreneurship sides of patenting. So this is actually quite important to understand Patents 101. We'll talk more about these things later. I'm not going to go into huge detail. And there's a bunch of very interesting things. October 28th is a third team presentation. We have a very nice panel, which will be interesting. I'll talk more about this later. Lab 3. Where's lab 2? Did I miss lab 2?
You're almost done.
Oh, yes. Yeah, lab 2. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so we have a second lab 2. So the labs are a lot of fun. Try not to miss it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm skipping through these fast because we'll run out of time otherwise. And then lab 3. Then we have a fun demo day right before Thanksgiving. So this is where I would like, really, if you can build something. So some people built a little device, contraption, whatever. talk about it. Sometimes we go outside if it's nice, beautiful, sunny day, see if it does something. That'll be a lot of fun. Sometimes you can just do it at home, take a video of it, and show it. But anyway, that's usually a fun. Potentially, yes, you're right. We have done it outside, though. I can't remember how it was like. Maybe it was earlier in the day. Yes, and then we have a few other things, and then the last week and so on. And then the final presentation on October 9th. Okay, the schedule, let me check everything and I will make an announcement if there's any big changes. But are there any questions about the schedule? Yes?
So, sorry, do the online sections do the labs?
No, yes, good question. The online students have their own labs, which you do at home. I'll post the instructions, yes. Very similar concept, but you do it at home. Are you in the online section? Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. So you have the labs as well. You also have to do the exact same lab report. The only thing is that what you do is very different. In the lab here, we have the scientific instruments, so we build things. At home, you do something different, but with things that you have, perhaps. Any other questions? Okay, assignments. So there's a bunch of assignments here, quite a lot here, but don't be scared, they're all pretty easy. Assignment 1 is due day after tomorrow. So please do it fast, because it helps me assign the teams. Oh, today's 25th? I'm losing track of time. Okay, nice. That's what happens when you're doing too many things. Yeah. So it is due tomorrow. And the reason I want you to do it quickly is because I need to assign the teams quickly so you have time to start working together. Okay. So this is quite easy. It's simply a poll. So you click on it. So you just click. It's just a Google form. Just fill it out. It's really for me to know what your background is. Okay? So you can do that. It'll take you 5 minutes or less. Then we have more specific home assignments here. So for example, this one problem statement. So I have a notation here which says team, which means that you work as a team to submit it. Okay, so that means only one of you can submit, need to submit. You can all submit if you want, but I know who's on the team, so I will assign the same grade. Unless there's a problem. So if there's a problem within the team, then I have to talk to you. But assuming you're all working great, you submit one thing. But I also have another comment here which says only RRT and online students, which means that the in-person students do not need to do it. Of course, you're welcome to do it. It's optional for you. Okay, that's what that means. So sometimes there's only a team, which means everybody has to do it. All the teams have to do it. But if I say that, that means in-person students don't have to do it, which is the extra assignments. If you remember, I mentioned online students have some extra assignments. Okay, presentation 1. Okay, yeah, you also have to submit. Sorry, for these presentations, after you do your presentation here, you also have to submit as a team, one per team, the slides or whatever. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I think you do, because it allows you to think through these problems. So for example, the problem statement is really the problem, developing the problem statement. Yes, I think there is, but it is not required. That's what I mean. No. And that's something we can discuss if there is a problem. Yeah. Usually, no. Yeah. Good question. Let's see, what else should I say? There's a few problem sets, geometry optic, and they might be a little hard. I'm just giving you a heads up, but that's really because I want you to work through it. Try not to use ChatGPT for that, because you really should think through yourself. Kind of defeats the purpose, I think. Afterwards, you can, but you should really gain the intuition. Then lab reports, presentations. Yeah. So the second problem set so this is a good example. So the second problem set, I'm only grading it for the online students or the RRT students, but it's a good practice for you to do it because it'll help you for your midterm. So that's an example where I'm not going to grade it, but it's good practice to do it. Let me think, what else should I say about these? I think that's pretty straightforward. We'll talk about each thing later. Okay, any questions? No, I'll go back here.